Hey, what's going on, guys? Motonosity here. Welcome to my new shop. It's nice, right? Got my new bike back there. You didn't know I got an Aprilia, did you? Actually, no. I'm here at Motivation. This is just their little shop room that they use sometimes. Came down here because today we're going to be installing the Rapid Bike Tuner, and they've installed a ton of them, both for customers and on their own shop bikes. And so I figured I'd come down here in case I had any questions. I'd be able to ask them right away. If you're unfamiliar with what the Rapid Bike Tuner is, here, let me grab it. Here it is right here. This is the Rapid Bike Evo. And it's a piggyback unit to basically control the fuel mapping of your motorcycle. You guys know that I'm a big fan of doing ECU flashes. I think it's one of the easiest ways to improve the performance of your motorcycle. I did it on my R6, I did it on my R1, I did it on my MT-09, I did it on my S1000. I'd love ECU flashes. Here's the thing though, on the 2020 R1, can't do an ECU flash. The ECU on this bike is still locked. It's been almost a year since this bike was released and nobody has been able to unlock this ECU just yet. It sucks. But that's where the piggyback units come in. I always recommend to you guys to do an ECU flash on your bike, especially after you do performance mods like putting on an exhaust, which we did. By the way, let me show it to you guys if you missed that video. We installed the SC Project CRT exhaust provided by Motivation, the guys right here. This one right here is the CRT carbon fiber version. It's got like a carbon fiber tube that overlays over the titanium exhaust. Pretty freaking nice. I love this thing. It sounds really, really good. But anyways, that's one of the big reasons that you should do an ECU flash after doing an exhaust change, because the air going through your system is gonna be way different. And doing an ECU flash is one of the easiest things you can do. But again, can't do it on this bike. So that's where this unit comes in. There are several different companies that make piggyback units that can control the air-fuel ratio on your bike. Rapid Bike is just one of them. But Motivation really, really recommends them. They put them on all of their bikes just because it also has auto tuning built in. Now, if your piggyback unit doesn't have an auto tuner functionality, you're basically just putting your own map on top of the bike. It makes no adjustments after that. Here's another thing though, 2020 R1 always coming through with the problems. For the first time ever with the Rapid Bike Tuner, they're not able to control all the injectors. Supposedly it's a physical limitation with the bike. I don't know a ton about it, so I don't want to speak too thoroughly about it, but we're gonna do as much as we can. With not being able to control all of the injectors, I guess it's the bottom injectors that they can't control. If you're below 6,000 RPM and under 40% throttle, it's not going to be making any changes on the bike. If you watched my first ride video, I talked a little bit about how the bike was riding and its responsiveness and how it's dealing with the new exhaust on there. So I really recommend you go watch that video. I'll link it down in the description. But hopefully, crossing my fingers, this will resolve a lot of that that I was experiencing. Keeping my expectations kind of limited, but anything that we can do to improve how this bike is riding is gonna be nice. So I'll show you guys what we got in here. Here is the little tiny piggyback unit. Everything should be plug and play. It's got full instructions. We got photos in here. They're not color though. Let's go ahead and get started. If you're interested in checking out this unit, I'll put a link to the Rapid Bike Tuner down in the description for this bike. I'll take it out for a little bit of a ride afterwards and show you guys initial thoughts, but it recommends you do I think at least 100-mile ride, maybe like 150, before it's able to actually get its full like mapping throughout the power band. We'll go ahead and get started. Hopefully we can knock it out in a couple hours and go take it out. All right, so getting the tank up is actually very similar on this to my 2017 R6, so it wasn't too much trouble for me. And here's what we're looking at. So I should just be able to lift the tank up now. Haven't tried, so I don't know if we can, but oh yeah. All I'll need is something to prop this up with. All right, I'm just gonna unplug the plug for the tank. Next up, I don't know how this connects here. It might just, looks like it's got a little slot here. There we go, lift that up, lift that up, lift that up, that, And that. Perfect. Here are all the plugs for the injectors. Looks like it will be a little bit easier if I actually take off the tank, because there's a couple plugs down under here, and I can't really access it with this piece of wood in the way. So I'm gonna get the tank actually off of the bike so I can better access all of that, and then we'll get the Sprint air filter into this bike. So I've spent the last 20 minutes just trying to understand this harness that comes with the Rapid bike and kind of look around the bike to see where everything is gonna go. It's fairly straightforward. There's just a lot of plugs and it's very tight under this tank. Everything is labeled. For example, this is O2 sensor 2, crank sensor, we've got O2 sensor number 1. The instructions tell you where it all is. You just gotta kind of follow along the harness and plug everything in. Again, plug and play, there's just a lot of plugs. So that one right here is the throttle position sensor, and you have the one that you're gonna plug in to where that one just came unplugged from. Doing a careful job to make sure that you route the wires where they need to be so you're not going around stuff that you're gonna then be tucking in. All right, that's in. Tuck that back up. And the ECU, go right back where it was. All right, so I think right here is where we're gonna be connecting the actual unit. All right, so there's a plastic piece that actually holds this whole battery, the assembly, all the plugs back here in the battery. So what I did was just unscrew it a little bit, tuck this in here, screw it back down. Now this is nice and solid in here. And this is gonna be connected to the actual unit. This is gonna tuck down on the side. The only question mark on this is how it gets power. It gets power, I think, from what goes to the brake light switch, and it connects right here. I don't know if it's bike to bike, like literal bike to bike or bike model, but that plug can sometimes be switched in polarity. And so they include a little adapter to switch that, flip that polarity if your bike needs it. I think my bike does need it. So once we get this all connected, when we turn on the bike and have it connected to the computer, we'll be able to see if that's correct or not. All right, so we're gonna check out if this is actually getting the power it needs. So we connected the computer and it was all good to go. You can open it. So we're gonna drop the tank on, get the bike started up, see if it's good to go. After we make sure that everything is good, I can go ahead and start buttoning things up and putting everything back on the bike. So So here's the stock air filter. It's got like a whole cone that funnels the air into it, whereas the Sprint filter right here, obviously we have no funnel. So you got the tabs right here, stick it in there, shove it in. There we go. Perfect. So got it all ready to go. We can go take it for the first ride. Obviously, the bulk of the experience isn't gonna happen until after there's some miles on the bike. So I'll have a follow-up video. I just wanna give you guys some initial thoughts on losing daylight. But yeah, let's start it up, get out on the road. Time to roll out. This will be interesting. Now, as I mentioned before, below 6,000 RPM and 40% throttle, I don't believe it's actually doing anything. And that's just the nature of the 2020 R1 specifically. They say it's the first bike ever where they haven't been able to access all the injectors. So yeah, we shall see. Oh, that's interesting. You could feel it kick in. Okay, I'm at 6,000 right now. I don't want to say too much. I want to be able to give the bike enough time to actually learn something. So I'll probably just ride here for a little bit and then maybe give some thoughts.
A few moments later.
You can definitely notice the smoothness difference below 6,000 and above 6,000. Like right now I'm above 6,000, and like throttle and acceleration is so much smoother. I'll have to ride a little bit more to actually feel how it pulls, if it feels stronger. So I want to obviously give it as much chance before I get a full review. And I tried to go in this with very low expectations. Here we go. So any acceleration I initiate now should have inputs from the tuner. Yeah, that's so much nicer. It's so much nicer. The shifts seem smoother too. Wow. It definitely feels like it's running a lot better. So much better. That makes me happy. That does make me really happy. Well guys, I'm pretty happy with that. I don't know about you guys. I think it can come across on video. Again, I tried to keep my expectations as low as I could, and I was pretty satisfied. In all honesty, if I had set my expectations at a level that was more in line with what I expected or thought that it could do, I think it exceeded those. That said, I don't want to give you guys the false impression that this solves everything, because it doesn't. Anything below 6,000 RPM, you're not gonna get any of the benefits. All of the excessive, burbles, backfiring, things like that, it's all still there. The lag on the throttle when you first launch, it's all there. That said, if you're doing any sort of spirited riding and you're higher in the RPM range, you're really gonna feel those benefits. It really does make a difference. There are rumors out there, I hear that maybe there's something in the pipeline and something's coming along in the terms of possible ECU flashing, but with what's available on the market right now, I think this is about the best that you're gonna get. Even if ECU flashing comes out for the 2020 R1 sometime soon, this is still gonna be beneficial because it's still gonna have all of that auto tune. I'm happy with it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and it helped you out. If it did, make sure you hit that like button. The information for the Rapid Bike and Motivation will be down in the description so you can check them out. Don't forget, if you want to get any of the Daily 100 limited merch line, all of that will be linked down in the description. It's at motonosity.com. You guys have been awesome. I've been Motonosity. Remember, life's better with horsepower. Keep life lived. I'll see you guys in the next one.